So today I'm going to show you how to temper chocolate using a microwave method. So we've taken some Callebaut Callebaut into a bowl. I'm going to start off by putting them into a microwave for 1 minute initially, and then we're going to bring it out and give it a stir. So that's the chocolate had the first minute. We're going to give it a really good stir. People are very nervous about using the microwave to temper chocolate. The reason for this is it burning. So the microwave I'm using here is 1000 watt. I'm going to control the amount of time that I put it in there for. So the first minute, so it's had the first minute and we can see that it's starting to go soft a little. So I always make sure that I start with a bowl full of chocolate rather than just a small amount. Otherwise it can burn very quickly and overheat very quickly. So this is going to go back in again, but because it's starting to go soft, I'm only going to put it in for around 30 seconds the second time. What I'm looking for is the chocolate to still have a few buttons in and just to stir it. So I'm actually, this method of tempering is where we take it directly to the working temperature, which is between 30-32 degrees depending on the chocolate you're using. So we're going to avoid the traditional way of heating up to 46, cooling down on the marble and then reheating again. This method, we're just going to take it straight to working temperature. So I'll put it back in for the next 30 seconds and then we'll bring that out and have a look. So you can see now that there's parts of the chocolate which are going quite fluid and there's parts that are quite firm. So we're now getting into like a paste form, which is kind of over crystallized chocolate. We're going to put this back into the microwave, and again this time 5-10 seconds. So that was just 7 seconds. So we'll bring it out and have a look. You can still see it's still quite thick, so it needs to go back in for a little bit longer again. So we keep going backwards and forwards. It's much better to be careful at this stage than just leave it in for 20 seconds, bring it out and find out you've overheated it. So how can you tell you've overheated it? Well, it'll go very, very fluid, it'll lie flat, it'll have no viscosity to it. So we can see it's just melting out. So that's going to go back in again, this time again 3-4 seconds, so we're getting much shorter in time. So when we get to the point now where there's just an odd few lumps still in the chocolate, we give it a really good stir. We want to blend the two together and use the heat that's in the chocolate, the liquid chocolate, to melt out the last few lumps. Okay, so you can see now all the lumps have melted out. You can see how it's just lying, as I pour the chocolate back into the bowl, I'm looking for it to just stay raised ever so slightly. But if I was to tap the bowl, it would lie flat. That's showing me that it's got some thickness to it, so therefore it's got some of the right crystals inside there. What I'm going to do, so I've been doing chocolate for quite a long time, and I still, even now after over 20 years, I always test the chocolate in these various ways. Different chefs, different chocolatiers have different ways of testing to see if the chocolate is ready to use. But I always stick to just dipping a knife. Obviously the knife needs to be at room temperature. Not if you're in a really hot kitchen, you want a slightly cooler room. And just dip the knife in, pop to one side, and just wait to see how long that takes to set. Now I'm looking for it to go touch dry, so I touch it with my hands, and it doesn't go off. It doesn't come off onto my hands. At this point then, if that happens in 2 to 5 minutes, it's tempered, ready to use. If it's taking longer, then I've possibly overheated it, in which case we have to revert to a much longer process. But for today, if you're careful, we can temper chocolate very quickly and easily using this method.